Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Well, it looks like a bullet has been dodged. Trump has paused the tariffs on Mexico and Canada for 30 days. But the question is, who actually dodged the bullet? Was it Trudeau, the president of Mexico, Trump, all of the above? You can join the conversation. Share your thoughts right here. It's a call-in show. We'll go through today's activity, today's unprecedented events, give you all the details on this now still pending trade war, I guess, or whatever it is. Some people, some very learned people, are calling it the dumbest trade war ever. I will be right back.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
I'm back. I have covered a lot of stories in my time. Thousands and thousands of news stories. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Or let's just do it Donald Trump style. Tens of millions. Hundreds of billions of news stories. But this story on the pending trade war, this is maybe one of the dumbest. Top 10. Top 5, maybe the dumbest. Wall Street Journal calls it dumb. The dumbest trade war ever. Wow. 30-day pause granted to Mexico and Canada and the United States. Trudeau today, after 2 phone calls with President Trump, saying that, he says this on X. He says, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. Here we will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. So this is right in line with what is happening down in Mexico, where the president of Mexico also had a phone call in the morning with Emperor Trump. And they're also sending soldiers to the border by the thousands, and they're going to work with the United States and the Trump administration to combat the drug problem. Now, Canada's getting a fentanyl czar. The United States has their border czar in Tom Homan, but Canada, we're going whole hog. We're getting a fentanyl czar. It's very fashionable now, I guess, to have a czar of some kind. Who wants to be a czar? Just a czar. We have czars for this and czars for that now. Every government needs to have a czar. What's a czar? A czar is an emperor, or at least a person with a lot of power over a particular domain or a particular area of expertise or responsibility. So I wonder what, when I think of it cracks me up. I just think of somebody wearing horns on it and a giant fur coat or something and a gold tooth, looking kind of mean. I don't know. It's just a czar. Anyway, it doesn't seem very Canadian to me, but we're getting one. Well, it's only going to cost us $200 million. Master negotiator, art of the deal. Oh my God. Okay, you think what you want. Yeah, because Canada's implementing $1.3 billion border security package. Oh yeah, that's all because of Trump. No, it's not. No, it's not. Canada was already in the process of securing its border. That $1.3 billion plan was announced way back in December, before the tariffs were announced by Trump. It's true. All this for that? Oh man. It may well be the dumbest trade war in history. All this, Canada last year, or I guess on average, certainly last year, seized about 40 pounds of fentanyl. That's how much has been flowing over the border. I'm sure that some stuff's been getting over, and then you don't know how much because you didn't get it. But 43 pounds versus like 21,000 pounds at the Mexico-U.S. border. And then that's what they seized. That doesn't, you're not talking about what actually made it over the border, and we don't know. how much because you didn't get it. But proportionally, you can see that the problem isn't really on the Canadian border at all. But now we're going to spend 1.3 billion bucks plus another 200 million on top, and we're going to have some helicopters and a bunch of guys and gals running around and in the woods, hiding behind trees. I don't know. Like, I'll, this is me editorializing. You can call in and tell me what you think. But if you think for 1 minute that this is going to end the drug problem, I've got news for you. It's kind of like, did prohibition stop people from drinking? When you have a drug problem, people are addicted. There's a market for it, and the criminals, and even these, these foreign governments that are flooding both Canada, the United States, and Mexico, all three places, with fentanyl. You think that they're going to stop? No, they're not. You ever look at a port? Look at the border. All the trucks that cross over the Canada-U.S. border every day at all the border crossings. Look at all the traffic that goes over the Mexico-USA border. You don't think some drugs are just, they're still going to flow over the border? Trump's sitting there saying, oh, we're going to end this forever. We're going to end this once and for all. Today on Truth Social. Here, I'll show you his post. Yeah, Trump's going to end the drug problem, and look what he did. Yeah, he sent the stock market into a tailspin. That's what he did. Canada has agreed to ensure we have a secure northern border and finally end the deadly scourge of drugs like fentanyl that have been pouring into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. Okay, at least it's not tens of millions like his press secretary said the other day, while destroying their families and communities all across our country. And it's about 73,000 people die because of the opioid crisis in the United States every year. I did the research. I showed you the other night. So it's not hundreds of thousands a year, but I guess over a number of years, it gets into the hundreds of thousands, and a large portion of that is from fentanyl, no question. He says Canada will implement their $1.3 billion border plan, which was originally announced in December before any of this happened. And as per Prime Minister Trudeau, will be, quote, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists. I already read you all this stuff. As president, Trump continues, it is my responsibility to ensure the safety of all Americans, and I am doing just that. I am very pleased with this initial outcome, and the tariffs announced on Saturday will be paused for a 30-day period to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be structured. Fairness for all. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good news. A lot of people are really worried about what was coming tomorrow. And now tomorrow has been kicked down the road 30 days into the future. So that's very, very, very good news. But it wasn't so good for the stock market today because everything went down the toilet, and the toilet really bad in Canada and over in the USA. Yeah, down there too, and took a crap kicking. All because of all of this chaos from Donald Trump's talk. So back on Saturday, as you know, Trump imposed these 25% tariffs on imports, saying it was going to take effect on Tuesday. And on the stock market front, well, we've seen significant plunges. Equity futures took a sharp dive with the S&P 500 down 2% and the Nasdaq 100 dropping 2.6%. Notable companies like Tesla and Nvidia saw overnight declines of 4.9 and 5.7% respectively. The volatility was reflected globally. Oh yeah, it affected the entire frickin' world as well, with Asian markets like Japan's Nikkei falling approximately 3% and European car stocks also plummeting due to their exposure in Mexico. When you're the President of the United States, you really need to watch your mouth, because what you say affects a lot of people all over the world. The fear is that these tariffs could ignite a broader trade war, potentially disrupting over $1.3 trillion in trade annually between the U.S. and these North American partners, which is what we have been. Analysts are concerned about the ripple effects on U.S. corporate profits, inflation, and even the Federal Reserve interest rate policies. Canada has been cutting rates. The Bank of Canada, not the Federal Reserve. It's two different things. Canada and Mexico have responded with their own retaliatory measures, as I say, but because of the pause, the 30-day pause, I can tell you, and we'll get into a little bit of this in a little bit, the retaliatory measures have been paused as well. So everybody's being friendly again, at least for the moment, sort of. Yeah, pausing the retaliatory measures on $155 billion worth of U.S. goods. I'm sure that had nothing to do with Trump's decision to put a pause on things. So yeah, investors have been very quick to react to first selling stocks and buying into the U.S. dollar as a safe haven, which has led to a strengthening of the dollar. Not so good for the stock market. I'm not so sure that the U.S. dollar is the safest place to put your money in a trade war like this either, though. This uncertainty has left markets bracing for more potential volatility, and I think there's a lot more to come as we move into more trading through the week. So keep an eye out for any further announcements or negotiations on this from the White House or from Canada, Mexico. What comes out of the mouths of these politicians negotiating in the weeks ahead, it's all going to have, it can have dramatic effects on the stock markets, on all kinds of markets, on your investments, your retirement funds, the value of your dollar. Just what they say can send prices on commodities or whatever up, down, sideways. They can light the world on fire just with what they're saying. And it makes me wonder. Johnny the other night said, this is all basically, he didn't use this word, but he has in the past said, rigged, and I get it. Because if you kind of know what's coming, even if you know what the president is going to say or what the president is going to do, if you have even an inkling, and you know it's going to affect the markets, then you know when to buy and you know when to sell. And we know some of these politicians, even in the last year, we've heard talk about some politicians basically engaging in what amounts to sort of like insider trading, because they know what government policies are coming, and then they know when to buy and sell stocks so that they profit. And that's a conflict of interest, and it's even kind of illegal. But it's done. And when I see the stock market bouncing up and down like this, because some guy's flapping his gums, some billionaire dude, it makes me wonder. Just saying, makes me wonder. And have we heard or seen the last of all this? I don't think so. Lots more of this to come. And people politicizing it. Honestly, I'm just being equally critical of everybody involved in this thing. I'm not trying to pick a political side. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm trying to be as unbiased, but I can't help it when I see dumb stuff going on. I'm just going to say it's dumb. And this is dumb. And so too does the Wall Street Journal say it's dumb. They've called this the dumbest trade war ever in history. The dumbest trade war ever in history. This is, and now the Toronto Star picking up on that, and me too, frankly, because it's true. This is so counterproductive. And I see, there's different streamers and people who obviously have a political slant, a bias, and they're picking sides. It's all Justin Trudeau's fault. It's all Pierre Poilievre's fault, or whatever, man. Like, I'm so tired of the crap. Anyway, here's the Toronto Star. Trump won't annex Canada, but he will try to wreck it. Here's how we can fight, quote, the dumbest trade war in history. He says here, this is by David Olive, Star business columnist. He says, it's true U.S. President Donald Trump would like the U.S. to annex Canada. Trump is a career deal maker. An American acquisition of Canada would be a deal-making triumph, eclipsing Thomas Jefferson's Louisiana Purchase. Quote, Canada and the United States would really be something, Trump said at a press conference last month. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like. It would also be much better for national security. But Trump won't annex Canada. Given the chance, he will instead wreck it. The tariffs Trump threatens to impose on Canada and Mexico in about a month's time could weaken them as U.S. competitors raise a hoped-for $1.5 trillion for the U.S. Treasury and bolster U.S. manufacturing prowess at the expense of America's neighbors. Also at the expense of American consumers, taxpayers, directly, because it filters down to them as consumers, through higher prices. It goes on and on. You got the idea. But they're calling it the dumbest trade war in history. Wall Street Journal. And then I think Trump responded by saying that the Wall Street Journal is part of what was it? I can't remember the exact words. Basically a anti-tariff lobby, I think is what he said after that editorial came out in the Wall Street Journal. An anti-tariff lobby. As if there's like some well-organized, well-oiled anti-tariff lobby machine out there that's active and soliciting funds and collecting millions or billions of dollars from anti-tariff lobbyists / activists, and it's like an organized cabal against tariffs, which are supposed to be a good thing, I guess, if you're Donald Trump, an anti-tariff lobby. What? They haven't had time to form an anti-tariff lobby, man. Because you just kind of came out with it and caught the world by surprise, because nobody ever thought this would ever happen. It just boggles my mind. Boggles my mind. If you guys want to join the conversation, you can, really at any time, and I will pick up. At least I'll try to. I will put the number up on the screen here. I shouldn't laugh. And I think this is not over, in my view. This is not over, not at all. This is going to progress. But I think, my opinion, people like Trump, this is the art of the deal. He's getting everything he wants, see? He's so smart. He's a great negotiator. And look what he did. He went golfing, and while he was golfing, he got the deal. I don't think so. You can argue that, I suppose, but he was under a lot of pressure. He was under a lot of stress. He's been criticized roundly, even a lot of Republicans criticizing him. Because why? Because the stock market, he sent it into a tailspin. That's not good for the economy. Yeah, you go ahead, man. You want to impose these tariffs? Have at it. You're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. You promised Americans lower gas prices. Gas prices going up. You promised Americans lower grocery prices. Have you seen the prices of eggs? Well, you're in the White House, man. Okay? Now that's partly to do with the avian flu, blah, 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 and the culling of chickens and everything. But you're the guy in charge now, man. And I'm just saying. You can join the conversation at 1519-401-1373. 519-401-1373. Do you think it's the dumbest trade war ever? I think so. Completely unnecessary. Counterproductive. And you know what? The problem here too is that the damage is done, man. The damage is done. The real damage is done. Even though he thinks he got what he wanted, or at least it looks like they're doing something, all this crap going on the border, especially on the Canadian side, it's window dressing. It's just for optics. It's like a show. It's a huge expenditure. And I wouldn't say it's really properly coordinated, properly planned. Maybe in the next 30 days they can come up with a game plan that's actually going to result in some sort of effectiveness or results. But this is like, oh, what do you want? I want your border secure. Okay, everybody get out there and assemble on the border. Go run down to the border, everybody. Show them we have to show them we're doing something. We'll spend all this money and just get your helmets and your body armor on. Get on down there. So he doesn't do the tariff thing. Get down to the Ambassador Bridge and just, I don't know, what are we supposed to do, boss? I don't know, just stand there. Pretend like you're doing something. Who's on the line with us tonight?
Hi, Rick. It's Michelle.
Here, hang on. Let me.
All sorts in the chat. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, so
Go ahead. You can disagree with me all you want. Yeah.
I have a concern, or I just have to,
Yeah.
compile my thoughts
Sure.
and try and articulate this.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously Trudeau does not have parliamentary approval for this 1.3 billion because he prorogued Parliament. So should we come back, should they go back to Parliament, be it through the court challenge or just the date they were supposed to go back?
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm going to check for you right now.
I don't
because
think it was approved.
because
The helicopters that he has are the RCMP helicopters. There's 2 of them. And he has not had this 1.3 billion approved. And of course, it is 1.3 billion over 6 years. But okay, let's presume it is not approved. Okay?
It was part just hang on. It was part of their fall economic statement, and I've got more, but you keep talking.
Parliament was prorogued.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Parliament was prorogued. It was never approved. And so let's say they go back to Parliament, be it because of the court challenge or just be it because they go back on a certain date, which I can't remember exactly what that date is. So that 1.3 billion becomes a part of a supply and confidence vote. Then it gets shot down and an election is called. Now, of course, I don't want Trudeau. I mean, I want Parliament to lose confidence. I want an election, right? But a part of me feels this is all by design by Trudeau to some extent, so Pierre Poilievre will not vote it down. Nobody wants these tariffs.
Right.
Are the NDP, the Bloc, and the Conservatives going to vote this 1.3 billion down? I mean, this situation is so fluid. It is changing all the time, every day. There's something else happening. It is just my concern that this may actually, in fact, screw up the supply vote. Or
you mean the confidence vote? You're concerned that he'll survive the vote and
well,
well.
Because do you think they're going to vote that down? Nobody wants the tariff.
Even if they did survive that vote, with everything that's been said and with everything that is going on in Parliament, and with Jagmeet Singh also now saying that he's ready to bring the government down, there would just be another confidence vote shortly after anyway. The government's going to go down. It doesn't hang on that single thing. And I think you're probably giving him way too much credit for, being so smart and devious that he came up with this grand plan knowing in advance that Trump was going to do this so that he could issue the fall economic statement and, thinking that far ahead. I don't think he's that bright. So it's just, I
actually agree with you there. Yeah. He's not that bright. And I guess it could have been, given the time of day this happened, perhaps this had a lot to do with the markets, that Trump finally listened to what Trudeau was saying.
Yeah, and of course he leaves it right to the wire for, great dramatic effect, and maybe he never planned to do this to begin with, or who knows what's in the guy's head. But here's the thing, I have to lay the blame, and I'm laying the blame at Donald Trump's feet. And even regardless of what's happened today, even though he's paused all of this guy has already inflicted massive damage. He has changed the trading relationship between the United States, Mexico, and Canada forever. He's shown that.
I doubt that, Rick.
No.
Donald Trump will not be president forever.
Doesn't matter because now Canada, we're going to build those pipelines. We're going to build those pipelines now. People are scared, and rightly so. And this is actually a good thing for Canada because we will diversify our markets. We've learned our lesson, and we will not let ourselves in the future. We're going to build out now, and we will reduce our dependence on the United States. And it has further damaged international trust in the USA. This has done long-term damage. And even what he's done today, also incredibly destructive. Look what he did to the stock markets just by flapping his gums. Then
I'm afraid to open up my bank app tomorrow morning.
I don't know if I can even say this, but can I say this? I think I can say this. Okay, my wife works at a bank, right?
Yeah.
And so they had emergency meetings today over this.
Oh, wow.
And I think all banks are probably did the same thing, and rightly so, right? But look, this is like a freaking crisis that the guy created just by what he said over, and then he's like, no, all right, I'll give you another 30 days. How can businesses plan? This cancels projects. It means people stop investing. It means consumers stop spending. He's talking about making America great and prosperous. This isn't how you do it because this undermines public confidence in the economy. This is the opposite of what you do. You need to build confidence in it certainly in the U.S. economy, and people down there are worried about it. This is completely irresponsible, reckless, destructive. This guy, I'm sorry, people have reverse Trump derangement syndrome where he can do no wrong. No, this was a freaking disaster. Even though he paused it, this was a disaster. This has cost the economy probably hundreds of millions, maybe even, I don't know how much this has cost the economy. And not even just short term, but long term. What's that?
It just shows you how a simple action can change the markets.
Yep.
And I believe that we will bounce back from this.
Oh, we will. Yeah, we will.
We will bounce back from it. But I feel, it's... Yes, a lot has happened with Trump. But our country is so vulnerable because of incompetent, imbecilic management for the past 9 years.
Oh, it goes far beyond that.
Okay, well, it does, but I'm just going to say for the past 9 years. it baffles my mind, with regards to interprovincial trade. The petulant
It's always been the case, though.
barriers. But you know what? I guess it's taken something like this for our country to wake up.
Yeah.
Why do we have these interprovincial trade barriers? I just feel, yes, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Because you can see it even today. Yesterday, you had I don't remember who it was, but it was a prominent member of the Bloc Québécois standing up and talking about how Quebec is our own nation, and so right there, that's why. And then out west, I'm watching, a prominent freedom fighting person. I won't name him, but he's like, I hope you all suffer. I'm glad this is happening. I want Trump to put on 50% tariffs. He's angry and he hates Quebec. He hates the East, and he's basically a separatist. That's why, because people just can't get over it. You can't bring them together. Too many people with too much anger, and the way our Constitution is set up. You've got the resources that are within provincial jurisdiction, not not the federal government. It goes back to the 70s and the National Energy Program. And Alberta, they resent having to share the wealth with the rest of the country, especially with Quebec when they want to separate anyway, and they want special treatment, and then they block the pipelines, and it's all the history, right? And then you get and here's the thing too, you've got the American influence up here. And this is something that people are really still not cluing into, even though it's right in your face right now. American oil companies who don't want you to build those pipelines across the country, that probably are among those who are funding the environmental groups so that they'll block the protest so that the pipelines don't get built across Canada, so we build them into the States instead. And then they've got us by the short and curlies, and we have to sell them. We sell them our oil at a discounted price, and then they refine it, sell it back to us. And not only that, but the oil that they get out of Texas and other places, and even some Canadian oil, they then ship it overseas and sell it at the full market price. And that's not us ripping off the United States. That's the United States taking advantage of our position as having just really one main customer. And it's been like that for a long time.
Our politicians allowing that.
It's also it's the people too, though, right? It's not just the politicians. It's Canadians. Can't get over their cultural differences. Can't get over their, this is ours, not yours, and instead of working together. And part of it is because of the way the country was formed and our Constitution, which gives a lot of power to the provinces. They're like equal partners to the federal government, and that means that everybody blames Trudeau, but he can't just jam the pipelines through because the provinces have too much power for him to do that, and they stand in the way. So what's he supposed to do? And not just him, but any prime minister, Trudeau Sr., Mulroney, Harper, any of them. You try to get a pipeline done, and you just run into one obstacle after another. You get it as far as Quebec, and they're like, oh no, we want all this money, we want these fees, and we don't want it in our place anyway, because, right?
It'll be worse if Carnage Carney comes in.
Oh, probably, yeah, but
definitely.
It'll
be worse.
But I don't know if any of them, if Canadians, hopefully this will help Canadians get over themselves and realize that we have to come together as a nation so we can build the country and stop being so protectionist within our own provinces. But that's why the interprovincial trade barriers are there.
Yeah, well, I just find it so petulant.
It's petty.
So what I find, I've heard that Ford has canceled Starlink.
No, I think that's been reversed. Everything he was doing, it's all reversed now because they got 30-day pause.
Okay, because I think Ford is a troublemaker. Okay, this election, I am disgusted with Doug Ford over this election. it was at the wrong time for a provincial election, just so he can have a mandate. You know what? People need to know that in Ontario, you can decline your ballot. And it is not the same as not casting a ballot or staying home and avoiding the polling station.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yes.
Why are you upset with Ford for calling the election when everybody wants Trudeau to call an election? So that they have a mandate.
Look, I liken this situation of Ford calling an election to Trudeau in 2021. A useless, unnecessary election. We do not need an election in Ontario right now. We need a federal election. And like I was saying, I will be declining my ballot. Now, if New Blue runs a candidate in Scarborough Southwest, which is my riding, Bill Blair's riding, by the way, if New Blue runs a candidate, I will vote for that candidate. Currently, there is no candidate. And if that is the case, on voting day, I will go and decline my ballot. Because it is my form of protest. You know, when you decline a ballot, paperwork has to be filled out. It's registered. It's not simply a...
Let me ask you, but why? I mean, anytime we have an election, I don't really care because it just gives the people a voice and an opportunity to hold the government accountable. And in this case, also give a government, whoever might be elected, a mandate to move forward and deal with this very important issue. And at the provincial level, it is, in my view, just as important to have a mandate for a provincial government as a federal government, because it's the provinces that control the resources in each province, and Ontario controls uranium and nickel and aluminum and steel and a lot of energy. So it is a big player in this equation. And so I don't see why anyone is ever really that upset about having an election, but I guess.
It's the fact that I would vote conservative. But you see, there is no conservative government in this province.
Yeah, well, I can't forgive him for it during
We have a liberal government in this province, and casting a vote for Ford is like casting a vote for a liberal. And I just won't do that. For me, it will be New Blue or decline the ballot.
Sure. Well, you know, he's pretty progressive.
That is my way of giving the finger to Doug Ford. You know, because really, we don't need an election. We don't need one. It is, how many millions of dollars? $189 million? I can't remember what I heard. This election is costing this province.
Well, if you don't like him, he's giving you a chance to get rid of him.
We're not going to get rid of him. Or Bonnie Crombie, a liberal. Like, this is the thing. We are spending, what is it, like I said, $189 million on an election? Something like that? Why? They are wasting our money. Rick, it pisses me off. But anyway, look,
yeah,
I don't
that's
want
okay.
to, someone else might want to phone in. I don't want to, take up too much time. But
no, this is a great conversation. I'm glad you called. And I think you've got very valid points. I totally understand. I mean, I understand, but I'm not as concerned about it as you. But I get it. Yeah, it's valid.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for an election where you're probably going to get the same guy in.
To cast my ballot for an imbecile, there is nobody in this riding that I want. Actually, the MPP, I have a personal connection to through a retired coworker. But that doesn't mean I'm going to vote for this person. No. They're all imbeciles, and either New Blue or declining ballot. That's what I'm going to do. And you know what? I'll probably go into the polling station, decline my ballot, and they will look at me like I have two heads.
Yeah.
Okay? But I will do it anyway. I mean, I'll keep you updated. But again, you know, if it's New Blue, I will cast my...
What is it about the New Blue that makes you think that they'll do a better job?
That, what is it? I feel that they're, well, it's conservative. Look, if Doug Ford was a conservative, I would happily cast my ballot. But he's not. He's a socialist. You know, I have said in the chat before, you know, I actually liked his brother. His brother was, what you see is what you got. He was a flawed individual, like everyone else.
Yeah, he
had
was.
his issues. He had serious issues.
Yeah.
But he did what he said he would do. Doug Ford makes my skin crawl.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, Rick, have a good night.
The crack cocaine with Rob Ford didn't bother you?
It did. This is what I'm saying. He was a flawed individual. It
All right.
did bother me. But he said and did, and it was consistent. You know, but he was not perfect. And I think it is, you know, when you think of Rob Ford, you know, he was human with flaws and imperfections. But he's nothing like his brother. His brother's a total, I don't know. Sorry, he's not a conservative. Anyway, Rick, have a good night.
All right, thank you for calling in.
Okay.
All right, see you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we had another call coming in there. But we didn't get to pick up, so they'll call back in a moment, I think. I'll tell you what, let's take a little break. All the trolls are attacking me, I see. That's okay. You go ahead, keep kicking me in the shins. I like it. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Yeah, China's going to hit back too, I guess. I think they're going to take him to like arbitration. Oh, this will take fire. Trade stuff. Who's on the line now? Go ahead.
Good old dragon from Montreal, my friend.
Hello, Dragon. How are you tonight, my friend?
Pissed off, but at the same time I'm trying to keep my beautiful smile because I'm listening to you, so yeah.
Well, are you pissed off? Aren't you relieved that Trump decided to be so gracious and nice to us that he's going to give us 30 days to get our act together?
Yeah, well, this is a good news. I like that news, but why I'm pissed off is, well, I see a lot of trolls around, and that, you know, I'm just going to leave it this way. The thing is that I'm looking into other article, for example, the UN Charter, Article 2.1 and Article 2.4 will actually tell you that using force against a territorial integrity or a political independence of any state annexation by definition involve use of force or threat of force, acquired territory, clearly prohibited. Meaning it's a no-no in the UN Charter.
I'm sorry, it's a what?
Sorry?
It's a what in the UN Charter? What was the last thing you said?
It's an article in the UN Charter that prohibits other countries to annex by the use of force other countries. So basically, if I'm telling you, Rick, you're gonna owe me more money now because I'm tariffing you and stuff like that. And by the way, if you don't like it, well, you can, always become part of my country. Well, this is a threat.
It is a threat. And people are like, yeah, go Trump. What? He's going to take over your country. Yeah, go Trump. What? This is insane.
Oh, yeah. So all the trolls out there saying, Rick, you're a communist now, or something like that, because I've seen some of those YouTube comments, and I was like, wow, a lot of troll tonight. Well, yeah, that's what it is. I don't know where you at, guys, but please go on your computers. Probably take the night off of Rick. Go do some research, you guys, because you need a lot of research and homework to do. And I'm a dyslexic ADHD guy, and tell you what, I probably know better. So I'm not trying to laugh at other people, but it's laughable. Okay?
Yeah.
Another comment here I want to make, and I'm sorry if I'm using this guy, but yeah. Everyone here knows Tim Pools, huh? From Timcast.
Yeah, Tim Pool, yeah.
Well, this poor little fella. After we destroy the Canadian economy and their will to resist will erode, we will then march in unstopped and deliver Canada to its rightful place as a territory of the U.S. with no political representation. Well, screw you, Tim. You know, you can F yourself.
Did Tim Pool really post that?
Yep.
When? Where? When? Today? I'm going to look it up.
A day ago. It's 1 day ago. I'm going to
is it
repost it on
that a joke?
No, it's not a joke. And I'm going to quote it on a repost. So
here it is right here. I've got it. This is...
Yeah, show that to the people. Show that. This is like, man, I'm pissed off. This is one of the reasons I'm pissed off. This comment from Tim. It's like, bro, I just want to go right in front of the limits of the U.S. and, you know, shove my middle finger in the air, basically. I'm sorry, guys.
Is it here? Did I lose it? Did I lose it? I had it up here. No, there it is. Where? Okay, I need to find it so I can read it. There it is. This is Tim Pool from Timcast. After we destroy the Canadian economy, their will to resist will erode. We will then march in unopposed and deliver Canada to its rightful place as a territory of the U.S. with no political representation. Unbelievable. Is that freaking for real?
I know there's a lot of Americans that would be pissed about this, and my heart goes to you guys because we are on the same page. But for the Timcast and the people like him, I raise my middle finger really, really high in the air. All right?
Here he is here. What a moron. Look at this guy. Trudeau, I'm sorry, but no, I got to stand with my country. And there's been too much of this crap from some of these online influencers who are clearly enemies of Canada. Tim Pool, who's sort of a conservative. Trudeau caved, Trump won, tariffs paused for 30 days. Yeah, I don't, you know, you can spin it that way. The truth is, stock market was crashing. Trump did something really stupid. He's been roundly criticized for it. It's doing irreparable damage in many respects to his own country and other countries around the world. It is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen ever. And yeah, it's ripping our country apart, no question about that. But thank you very much, Tim Pool, for helping to fuel that. But no thank you. No, and you know what? This just shows, Dragon, that this is not a joke. Because there's been so much of this over the past few years, from Jackson Hinkle saying that he wants to take over Canada, Lieutenant Steve Rogers. This guy said it before too. Who else have we heard from in that regard? Well, Tucker Carlson, several occasions, saying he was coming to Canada to liberate the country. I mean, there are quite a number of them. And I said when I first started hearing that stuff that they're not joking. It's what I call a trial balloon. And it's to normalize this in people's minds. It's to get you used to the idea and maybe even bring you on side so that you support it. And that's what that SOS campaign was all about. And they've been, I'm sorry, folks, but they've been conditioning us to kind of get used to the idea over the past couple of years. And here it is. They've normalized this idea to the point where when they're actually doing it to us, we're just sitting back going, oh yeah, Trudeau sucks. F Trudeau. It's all Trudeau's fault. It's not Trudeau. It's Trump doing it to us.
Yeah, it's mental conditioning that they're doing to you.
Basically,
mental conditioning to, tell you like, you want to be American. Please become one of us. Just normalizing the whole thing in your head till you go like, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's go. Yeah, right.
And they're telling you right up front what they're doing.
Uh-huh.
And there it is. This was.
I'm gonna screw you up, and then you're gonna like it.
Wow. Yeah, after we destroy the Canadian economy, their will to resist will erode. We will then march in unopposed and deliver Canada to its rightful place as a territory of the U.S. with no political representation. Yeah, that's why we need to defend our damn country. And I'm sorry, but these people who are saying, "Oh, we shouldn't do anything. We don't fight back." What the hell are you talking about? I mean, if your best friend one day comes along and starts punching you in the face, or even threatens to punch you in the face, but he already actually did punch us in the face several times over the past few days. Not just Trudeau, he punched Canada in the face, bashing us right in the face. Punch, punch, punch. I'm sorry, but yeah, we have the right to defend ourselves, and we should. And I'll say this too, to the people who are saying, "Oh, don't do that. He'll make it even worse." No, you know what? It worked. We got the 30-day pause. He backed off. So who backed down? Trump. He's the one who backed down. And how the hell are you supposed to negotiate with this guy? He never made it clear what he really wanted. It was the border thing. It was unfair trade practices. It was what else was it, Dragon? What all these different things that he was going on and on about. Canada's treated us very unfairly, very difficult to deal with. He's the one who made the damn deal to begin with, the USMCA or CUSMA or however you want to phrase it, the new free trade deal that was enacted the last time he was in office. He's the one who signed it. He's the one who negotiated it, the master negotiator. And now he's coming along saying, nope, that deal sucks. You abused us. Well, why? Well, you're the great deal maker. Why didn't you get a better deal the first time around? It sucked so bad, now you need a new one again? So which way is it? Is he a great deal maker or not?
He screwed himself.
The thing is, he didn't screw himself the first time around. It has nothing to do with the trade. It certainly has nothing to do with the drugs. Not on the Canadian side, for sure. That is an excuse. He needs to phrase it that way. He needs to use that as the justification, because under the terms of the trade deal, you can't impose tariffs. And if you do, you're subject to arbitration through an international arbitrator, which will then resolve the trade dispute, and they would rule against the use of the tariffs. But if you declare it to be an emergency, a national emergency, and a national security issue, then he can do what he wants because it's not directly tied to the trade deal. That's why he's made it about the drugs and border security, so that he can get all this crap going on and suspend trade and impose the tariffs. That's what it's about. That's an excuse. Then it's like what? It's that, and because it's not about that. It really is ultimately. I think you know what it really is. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about the bloody oil and the resources. Yeah, that's what it is. And he's got operatives up here in Canada, and this is foreign influence. And he is, I'm just going to say it right up, Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure that he's helping the separatist movements. And what do you think is going on in my chat here every night? He's got people who back him, either wittingly or unwittingly, and maybe even some people getting paid a little bit here and there. Like that $10 million media fund to Tenant Media, where you've got some Canadian influencers who are being paid, wittingly or unwittingly. That's all part of it. It's all part of this. And then you're worried about foreign infiltration? Well, the biggest foreign infiltrator and influencer in our political system is Donald frickin' Trump. You're worried about the Chinese. You're worried about the Russians. You're worried about the Iranians. You're worried about other countries. The biggest meddler in our politics is that guy, Donald Trump. You want your sovereignty? You think you've got valid elections? Huh. It's Donald Trump and Elon Musk. You think that you're thinking for yourself when you're scrolling through X? Elon Musk has an artificial intelligence company attached directly to Twitter, and he controls the algorithm, and we don't really know what the algorithm is doing. But it certainly controls what you see, what ends up in your feed. Hell, man, I've noticed that when I'm on Twitter, they know somehow that I even have things in my possession that I don't even search for online. I'll tell you, at Christmas, I was given a Blink camera, like doorbell camera. I've never searched for it. I have no interest in it. Frankly, I got the thing. It's kind of cool. I didn't even open it. I haven't even looked in the box. I've never searched for it online. Nothing in my sphere of existence other than the fact that I received it as a Christmas gift and it's on my kitchen table. It hasn't moved since Christmas. I received it as a gift. Other than that, I've had no interest in it. And yet I keep getting these ads popping up ever since I got home from Christmas for this stupid Blink doorbell thing. Now you tell me how that's possible. I don't know. But somehow that's not a coincidence. On X.
I got two theories that comes in mind right now. You know that your phone's always filming or
listening. It's always
to your
listening, yeah.
Conversation without you to know, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. The
Quite
other
possible.
One, yeah, well, they know that you have that in your stuff, so they will feed you with that, basically trying to manipulate your view on this. The other thing is that there's probably something in there that, say, a Bluetooth thing, right, that connects already to your phone without being connected and tells the algorithm this guy has this thing, so let's feed him with it.
Well, it just scares the crap out of me because they somehow know, and they keep putting they've cued in on it somehow, right? And so I get these ads for this thing, for this stupid doorbell camera all the time now. But the point is, you're worried about foreign infiltration and foreign influence. It's this dude. This is the guy. I mean, he's literally talking about annexing the country. And you're worried about the Chinese. What the hell do you care? If you want some other country to take you over, what do you care? You're not a patriot. You're not defending Canadian sovereignty. I guess you just don't care. Or well, it's okay for Trump, but not for Xi Jinping. I'm not so sure, man. Like the way this guy's acting, I'm not sure which is the lesser of two evils, or maybe they're both. I don't know, but I don't like it. This is very aggressive. And this is you know what? China has not been destroying our economy. Not like this. This guy's threatening to destroy our economy. And everybody's like, yay! What the hell is wrong in the heads of people?
And I'm laughing, and I shouldn't, but, you know, I mean, it's the way that I cope with it. You know, I'm laughing about it because it's laughable. People are just like, what the heck are you doing?
It's all Trudeau's fault. Trudeau's not taking your bloody job. Either is Polyev. It's Trump. It's what he has been saying, what he's said he's going to do, and it's putting people, 1 million jobs, maybe as many as 1.5 million jobs in Canada in jeopardy. That's not recession area, folks. That's deep depression. I mean, you don't know what that means because we've never experienced that since like the Great Depression. It'll be worse. And you're cheering for this guy. No.
1929 at the crash of 1929 will look like a beautiful walk on the beach in Delaware with a beautiful ice cream.
Quite possibly. Oh, don't fight back. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. He might make it worse. How much worse? Who cares? How much worse can it get? Like, seriously. He's punching us. He's punching you in the face and kicking you in the gonads. And you're like, don't fight back. Just lay down. No. Have a little self-respect. A little pride. Stand up for yourself. Otherwise, he's just going to keep punching you in the face. If we hadn't stood up, you think those booze manufacturers down in Tennessee didn't care that we were just not going to buy anymore? You think Elon Musk doesn't care that he was about to lose a $100 million contract for Starlink in Ontario? I think he cares. I think he cares. That's a lot of coin. We're not as big as, but we're big enough to hurt. And Trump's the one inflicting the pain. It ain't coming from us. Stop flipping it upside down and blaming the victim. You're the victim. So stop allowing yourself to be abused in this relationship. Demand some goddamn respect. Have a little frickin' self-respect. Because all these people are like, don't fight back. You've got no self-respect. It's like, please, sir, whip me some more. Kick me in the ass. Stick that wire brush up my you-know-what. Please, do it again. Please, sir, may I have another? Yeah, go ahead, Dragon.
We're maybe a splinter in the big paws of the sleeping dragon, but it can always infect.
You know, if you allow people to take advantage of you and abuse you, they don't respect you. Look at what Trump's doing. He's going around the world and he's, peace through strength. I'm Godzilla. You'll do what I say. You will respect me again. And you're all sitting there, all you people are saying, yay, Trump. All the Trump supporters, you're like, yeah, man, he's showing the world what America's really all about. That guy, he's getting respect for America. And how about a little self-respect? Because that guy doesn't respect Canada. He doesn't even recognize us as a country. He says the boundary line is artificial. Well, I got news for you, man. It's very frickin' real. The country's real. Canadians do have pride, real Canadians. And I'm not saying you, stand up and get violent or anything like that. I'm just saying have a little damn self-respect and demand fairness in your trade deals. And when somebody's accusing you of ripping them off when you're not, and it's the other way around, you point it out. You call it out. You call out the lies. Tens of millions of people are dying from fentanyl overdoses because of Canada. No, it's not true. Not even close to true. $250 billion trade deficit, not even close to reality.
That's it.
So get it real.
Along with the logic of 10% tariff on China, but 25% on your favorite neighbor.
Yeah.
What the heck? Bro, come on. I mean, there's no logic in there. So where's the logic? You just want our resources.
It's not aggressive. It's not confrontational. To defend yourself, stick up for yourself, have a little bloody self-respect. Stop having like come on, man. And it's not a partisan thing. It's not a liberal thing. It's not a conservative thing. It's just a bloody Canadian thing. It's your country, belongs to you. You're part of it. Stand up and demand a little bloody respect. And when you're insulted and abused, you don't take it. You just, simple as that. But hey, man, if you want to let somebody just sit there and punch you in the face, you freaking go ahead. Go ahead. Because you'll find out. You'll find out. You'll lose your country. You'll lose it.
Me or the world have forgotten that, we need to have some self-limits and some respect and not let people infringe those limits. People have forgotten that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, too. Trump's turned into a complete a-hole, and he's given license to a lot of people to be a-holes. And I'm tired of it, frankly. If being a conservative means I have to go around insulting people, hurting people, I don't want any part of that. That's not the kind of conservative I am. That's not what I mean by conservative, but that seems to be what it is. If being conservative means turning into a flaming bigot and a racist, where you go around, literally insulting people, using racial slurs and hating on gay people. If that's what it's all about, just screw off, man. I don't want anything to do with that. That's not what conservatism is to me. I want to live in a society that's good to people, all right, and tolerant and non-judgmental in most respects. Okay, like stop hurting people. That's not what conservatism is about. These guys are just bullies, and they don't give a shit because they're rich, and they don't care about you at all. Do you think Donald Trump cared today when the stock market crashed? No. I'll tell you, because he probably made money, and if he didn't, a lot of the people around him did, because they saw it coming. And so they sold when it was high and bought when it was low, and now they've profited from the bounce back. Still not fully recovered, but some people got rich today. I guarantee you.
I mean, I didn't look into companies that had some gain today, but I'm sure that NVIDIA got some.
No. Yeah, and you know what? And here's Jeremiah Bullfrog. Rick, you lost your edge, man. I'm sorry, but what the hell are you talking about? Liberals, Democrats are the most hateful and intolerant group of people in Canada and USA, etc. Well, you know what, Jeremiah Bullfrog? There's problems on both sides. And I'm not on either one right now because they can all go suck an egg. Because I don't want anything to do with hateful crapola and crap and lies and BS. And I'm standing up for my country. I'm standing up for my country. And the point is, I'm not a big Trudeau fan by any stretch. I'm not. But it's not about him. It's about the country. It's about you having the right to self-determination. It's about Canada having its sovereignty and your right to vote and decide what kind of a country you want. We've got problems. We get to fix our problems. Donald Trump should mind his own damn business. Stay out of our politics and stop influencing people.
Exactly. I mean, we're all human. We're not, perfect, but we all trying to do better every day and become more awesome. That's the way we are. That's the Maverick way, guys.
That's the Maverick way. So, and Trump is the elite. He's a multi-billionaire. Trump is, he is the guy who's doing all this to you. No, Rick, no, he just got duped by the vaccine, and that Kuzma deal, that was, yeah, he got tricked. He got tricked in that one. So he has to do it all over again. Yeah. No. Oh, and yeah, and don't worry about the vaccines that are going to be developed with artificial intelligence and will be available for people in 48 hours with no testing. No, I'm sure it's going to be fine. That's all Trump too. That's all from Trump too. So, if you're worried about, no, it's, yay, Trump, save us. You're all worried about this over there, but not, come on.
Well, when I think of Stargate, I prefer the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
This is all a mess, guys, and we're right in the middle of it, and I do believe that some people are just, unfortunately, being so much messed up by being turned around from one to the other that the division between us has become so hard to deal with to a certain extent that, we don't know where to place ourselves, and we become probably more radicalists that we think in a certain ways because of the way that radicalization of the idea becomes by, I would call that probably the manipulation of our minds. Basically, like we said earlier, this is conditioning. So,
are we even running on Rumble tonight? Or did we lose the channel there?
oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, actually, you got the channel 2 running, but not the main one.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know. Did we get shut off? I don't know what's going on. All right, well, there you go. Weird.
No, it's still on the upcoming, so for some reason it didn't start it.
Okay, well, I hate it when stuff like that happens. Is anybody even watching over on Channel 2? I would imagine we got some people.
Yeah, most of the people went to retract back to Channel 2, so...
All right, well, there's another little technical disaster. Okay, Dragon, let's just sign off here for a bit. I'm gonna take a little break, and we'll come back. And thank you for calling in tonight, sir.
My pleasure. Guys, stay positive. Always stay positive and Mavericks, and stay cool.
All right, see you, bye. I'll be back in a minute, folks.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
There we are, I'm back. Just looking in the chat. Just looking in the chat. Steve Harvey says, no diplomacy if the art of the deal is threats. Well, and then I can't read the rest. Well, that's not a true contract. Yeah, that's true. Let's go back over here where I can read them in this window. So maybe I can put some up on the screen if they're appearing in the stream. Oh, the internet's delaying. A little sluggish. If you want to join, you can call 1-519-401-1373. Come on, pop out, chat. Pop out so I can see you. Frustrating. There we go. Now I can see. Now I can see. Excuse me. Sandy. Oh, Sandy, thank you. I have a friend. Sir Rick is right on the money. Thank you, Sandy. It's nice to have a friend. And Jeremiah Bullfrog says, take care, Rick. I got to head out. Relax, amigo. You too. Have a good night. And who else we got? Let me see here. Am I getting kicked in the shins a lot tonight? I think so, in the chat. And Kanzuk, it says here, this is Coal Mine Mike, says Kanzuk is looking better and better. Does that mean Canada is looking better and better? I don't know. Bond says, bring it up on the screen. When the blind and evil people arrested Jesus, Jesus didn't have to go with them. He could have called down legions of angels. You see, we have the power and faith and truth and belief also. And when Sandy says Dragon 2, right on, hon. Yeah. Thank you, Sandy. And Choosy, hello Choosy, how you doing, man? He says, oligarchy is defined by its reliance on a small, inducted, corrupted class of extremist rulers. And Deborah says, check away. I really don't care. RHIS is supposed to be a free speech channel, whatever. This. I think it's supposed to be this, not RIS. This. Whatever. Static is gone for now, it says. I guess must have been some static. Dale Baird says, internet is slow because you are in Canada. Yeah, well, maybe. Maybe Elon Musk is slowing me down because I said something he didn't like about me. Antonio, hello, sir. Great to see you as always. He says, we and most of the world have turned from the true and living God, and I think we are under judgment. God may not save the nations, but he can save the individual. There you go. And Merrick. Hello, Merrick. What's Merrick saying? Where are Canada's friends? Why is the world silent? That is a very good point. I have noticed that when watching other broadcasts, occasionally they'll mention Canada, but not nearly as often as Mexico and even Greenland. Greenland gets the ink and the airtime. Canada, It's like nobody's really paying that much attention. It makes you wonder, does anybody care? I'll tell you, I don't think anybody's coming to save us. I don't think anybody is coming to save us. Oh, Pooh Bear says static when you're on the phone. Okay, you know what? It's because of the charger, I think. I'll take that off, and I think that's what causes it. So I'll disconnect that. And John Johnson says, I loved your car shows, Rick. Was kind of disappointed when I first found this show. Now I'm proud to see you finally seeing the light. Whatever light that is, I'm always searching for it. Just always trying to do the right thing and trying to find the truth. Whatever that might be. Even if people don't want it or can't handle it. And there's lots of that out there these days, and people seem to kind of sucked down into their own reality, their own truth. And truth can be manufactured in your head, but we talk about that from time to time, don't we? So, yeah. You can call in tonight at 1519-401-1373. I will put up the phone number here in this video that we run as a transition, just so you know where to call, and I will be right back. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. One 519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Now, Chrystia Freeland, former Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister in Canada, is sort of making the rounds on some U.S. news channels. But I'll tell you, if she is the one who's going to lead the charge, if she should be successful in some way in securing the Liberal leadership, I think she's going to have to do a little bit better than this. This is what she said on CNN.
Americans have to understand how hurt and frankly how furious Canadians are. Our sovereignty is being challenged, and so yeah, regular Canadians across the country are coming up with ways to stand for Canada, to fight for Canada, to defend Canada, but mostly to say to our American neighbors, guys, just cut it out, just stop it, this is a terrible idea. And yes, we are going to use all the tools in our toolbox. You mentioned a little bit earlier how the United States depends on China, critical minerals and metals that you need for semiconductors, that you need to build electric vehicles. Well, guess who also produces those? Canada. You depend on us for a lot, and we are happy to work together, but it's got to be a two-way street.
Cut it out. Yeah, that ain't gonna cut it. She's gonna have to come up with better language. It's just not scary enough. Okay. Although, at least she's not like some of you in the chat, just laying down and letting Donald Trump do a ground pound on you. Thank you, Donald Trump, for smashing me in my Canadian face. Would you please smash me again? She didn't do that, so she's one up on you there. At least she stands up for her country. This lady here, this is Kanye West's lady friend. What? What's her name? Bianca Sensori? Yeah. Have you seen this at the Grammys? You see what she was wearing? Is this fashion or porn? I have to wonder. What's... I mean, it's not that the emperor has no clothes. It's that the elite celebrity types, the people, you know, the ruling class, if you will, and that includes the Hollywood people. Some of them, they literally have no clothes. Like, it's fashion. Nudity. Yeah, you just a couple of pasties and a fig leaf, and you're good to go. That's high fashion. This is the Grammys during, you know, the photo session. Okay. I'm gonna try to stop this before we get to the full nudity stuff. Here we go. Here's another call coming in. Who's on the line? Good. Hang on. I'm just gonna show the semi-nude thing here.
Can we see the fashion?
Okay, just in case I don't pause this quick enough.
Over that shoulder one time.
Oh my God. Okay, I won't let her turn around. Even though it's legal in Ontario to run around topless if you're a woman, eh? It's true. Eh? I'm so Canadian. Well, like, what is that? And she wasn't the only one that was kind of flashing. But I don't know, man. Whatever. Nudity. I thought that was against the law. It was against the law a while back. Not so much anymore. Now it's fashionable. And I think it used to be you'd get arrested for mental illness if you were walking down the street naked. But now they'll make you a star. Anyway, what's on your mind tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm calling in about tariffs. How are you?
I'm okay.
Anyway, I've been running the numbers on these tariffs, and I just can't square the delta between the inverse supply elasticity on the aluminum imports from Mexico and the reciprocal duty offset on Canada's lumber derivatives. It feels like we're in almost a retaliatory loop without some sort of stabilizing mechanism. Do you think we're just going to hedge our deficits with cyclical non-tariff barriers at this point, or is there going to be some sort of underlying policy here I'm missing?
Wow, you're getting pretty technical on the economics.
I guess so.
You're a little garbled on the phone call, a little hard to hear a little bit of what you're saying, and I'm not even sure what the question was at the end. I could tell that you were really getting into the nitty-gritty on the economic theory there, but can you repeat the question at least for me?
Well, let me simplify. If you look at like the rolling 5-year equilibrium curve between NAFTA holdovers and the USMCA reclassification matrix, you'll see that the baseline tariff burden isn't actually shifting. It's just kind of being laundered through our deferred import rebates. So at what point do you decouple the compensatory subsidies from the nominal trade imbalance?
So you're trying to decouple the trade subsidies from the trade imbalance.
Well, geopolitically speaking, yeah. I mean, if we over-leverage our duties on Mexican steel without accounting for our deferrals in the Canadian market, are we just going to trap ourselves in some sort of trade corridor?
Well, I think that you're mixing a lot of stuff together, so it's hard for me to really comment because you're talking about lumber and you're talking about steel and subsidies, and they're different industries, and I don't have, you know, the figures on those industries at my disposal, so it's hard for me to really comment on that level of detail.
Well, listen, I'm a macro commodity analyst. I specialize in cross-border duty inversion models. It's sort of like a niche field, but when you map out the curve on the cross-sectoral tariff hedges, you'll see why we're sort of stuck in this trade deficit.
Well, okay, so give me your opinion. What do you think? The floor is yours, and you've been the one analyzing the data and looking at the graphs. So, what do you think?
Well, I don't want to get into semantic deconstruction of the tariff yield matrix here, but you can't deny that decoupling the USMCA's post hoc enforcement clauses from the pre-existing MFN exception is like trying to hedge futures in the negative yield bond market. It just doesn't hold.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling. I'm sure that the viewers are following everything you're saying. Honestly, I'm having a little trouble making out your call, but.
Well, maybe you should educate yourself on this a little more.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you. I appreciate the call. Anything else tonight? Yeah, very technical. Anybody else want to call in? Very nice. That was a bunch of jumbled mess, is what that was. But if you really want to call in and talk about economics, then you can call in and talk about economics. If you want to throw out a bunch of jibber jabber that really is, conflating a bunch of data, and you want to throw around a lot of jargon that doesn't really make any sense, then maybe call another show, just to try to make it look like I don't know what I'm talking about, when in fact you just said a mouthful of crap. Anyway, but I love you guys. We have the best callers. Is the static gone? Yeah, I couldn't. The call. Yeah, too much static. Couldn't hear the caller. The call was garbled anyway. And yeah, was the static gone after I disconnected the power charger? Somebody tell me in the chat. I'm looking. And okay, so here's Dale saying, here's a point. I buy steel. I can buy from the USA, the Middle East, India, Africa, etc., but not Canada, because no mine, no raw steel plant, and so on. We do manufacture steel in Hamilton, Steel Town. And they have clean production facilities there, too. I'm pretty sure that they actually do a lot of the steel production with electricity now. Yeah, instead of the old methods. So Canada does produce steel, which Donald Trump doesn't like. Yeah, I still don't know. Let me know if that made any difference on the static, so that I know for tomorrow night and future nights if I need to make any other changes in the way we're doing these calls. Hang on a second here. I'll be right back. Let me just get ready for this next caller. And here we go.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Oh, Sandy's on the line. Okay, Sandy, you're on the air live now. And, yeah, you go ahead. What you said you saw the nudity thing?
I saw the nudity thing, and he has a bodysuit on.
I don't think it's a bodysuit. I think it's just see-through.
You think it's a real thing?
Uh-huh, I think so.
You think it's a real deal there?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it for money. I wouldn't do it for anything.
Well, I don't know what to say about it.
Well, okay, I'm going to fly off topic here. So I was scrolling yesterday on my phone, and I was just farting around. It was Sunday, not much to do, so you sometimes do that, right?
Yeah.
So I came across, remember the swastika thing?
Okay, yeah.
Have you heard anything lately?
Have I heard anything
Is there anything
lately?
going on there?
Well, I don't know what you mean by is there anything going on with the swastika thing.
I know. Remember you were doing a story, a big thing about it with the flag and everything?
Yeah. Well, I haven't really touched base with any of that in a while.
Yeah, but there's still some things going on YouTube, and it's kind of, I'm catching on to it, whether it's real or not.
Oh, it's real. They're really doing it.
They're really doing it.
You know what my position is on it. I'm not. I don't like that. So
I don't either. I don't agree with that. That play is like, it's some form of symbol of either like cultism or, you know what I mean?
I guess you could look at it that way.
Some form of cult?
Is it some sort of cult?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would look at it quite that way.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not sure either. This one's a bit complex, and it.
I don't. I mean, I don't really want to get into it. To be quite honest with issue, the way that we dealt with it before, and I'm opposed to it, and I'd prefer to not even have to deal with it again. But I'm sure at some point we'll be forced to.
If you can steer away from it, after what I viewed yesterday, I was just playing around on it, and I'm going, oh my God, really? And then I stopped. I just went off it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's too weird for me.
Well.
Yeah, what a world.
It's upside down for a lot of people right now, I'd say.
And Dragon's right too. You know when you see something, and when you see it, it's there. And if it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's fake. It's hard to tell, especially on YouTube.
Oh, you mean what you're seeing on social media, whether it's real
like social media.
or what's fake and what's real? Yeah.
Yeah. It's complex.
It's so weird. Like I said a while back, like we showed you the account for that guy who it's a different name, but people are convinced it's actually Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And there's some people who think that might even just be a character that's generated with artificial intelligence, and Elon Musk has actually had a conversation with the person or the AI entity, and this AI thing, or this real person, whatever it is, does these X spaces. People are weirded out by it, and a lot of people think it is Elon Musk, who maybe is having a conversation with himself. And whether it is or it isn't AI, it just shows you that AI has evolved to a point where people now don't even really know what's real and what isn't. And
what's real? Yeah.
And that's a real problem. That's also a threat to our democracy, if you want to look at it that way.
Exactly, my friend.
Yeah.
I think our democracy is being threatened.
Because you can create social media posts and videos and content that makes it look like a politician does something, or that an event has happened that never really happened. You can create scenes of war that never actually exist.
Doing all this, what you were saying earlier, I caught on about it. I know who's doing it. It's Trump. He's doing it.
Well, I don't.
He's fully online.
He's so
full of shit.
Well, I don't know how you can. I don't think there's anybody else who's having as much impact and influence on Canada, its future, its political system, its parties. You talk about foreign influence. Nobody has more influence over Canada's politics than Donald Trump and his political machine. Nobody.
And he's doing it all online. He's blurring it out, and he's screwing up as he's blurring it out. How old is he? 70-something? I think it's time you're done.
Well,
We got they have 4 years of it.
4 years, yes, that's right.
I'm learning a lot about Canada too. Like, I think Canada is perfectly fine. I know there's a little bit going on, but it's not as bad as the U.S.
Well, look, here he is in the White House,
right?
Saying it again. Here's Trump saying, you won't hear this, Sandy, but I'm just going to run this clip of Trump saying that he wants Canada to become the 51st state.
What I'd like to see Canada become our 51st state.
Just let him talk. Just quiet for a second.
Military protection. We don't need them to build our cars. I'd rather see Detroit or South Carolina or any one of our Tennessee, any one of our states build the cars. They could do it very easily. We don't need them for the cars. We don't need them for lumber. We don't need them for anything. We don't need them for energy. We have more energy than they do. We don't need them for energy. So I say, why are we doing this? Why are we willing to lose between $100 billion and $200 billion a year? We don't need them. As a state, it's different. Look, what I'd like to see Canada become our 51st state.
Yeah. So, they give us protection, military protection, become the 51st state. Oh yeah, but don't worry, he's not infiltrating or influencing Canadian politics at all. Right. Yes, he is. He's the biggest influencer.
The biggest influences in the world.
Yeah.
So far right now.
Because.
Putin, and then we got Trudeau, and you got 4 corners of the world, and you got morons running it.
So,
that's my opinion.
You can worry all you want about your foreign influence with your members of parliament, but if you want the real answer as to who is, the threat to our sovereignty, it's the guy who's saying that he's going to take over your country.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I hope not. I really hope not, because we're going to be in the doghouse.
Well, but a lot of people don't care, Sandy, because they just want Justin Trudeau gone. That's all they want. That's all they care about.
And I even learned the definition of an oligarch, and my sister explained it to me well, and I get it now. So, very rich people.
Yeah, very rich people who have influence over government and a connection directly to the ruler of the country.
Yeah,
those are the
I know. I learn a new word every week. When I watch your program, I learn a new word every week.
Well, a lot of people don't know what an oligarch is, and a lot of people don't even know what a tariff is. I think there was a survey out. I think
you explain it to me.
I think about 45 or 47% of the population doesn't even know what a tariff is.
Yeah, I think people were starting to think it was some form of group or people or something, and it's not. It's a tax.
Yeah.
It's a number. It's a tax bracket. Yeah. I know. Who would have thought, right? Where did they get this stuff from? I have no clue.
Anyway, thank you for calling in tonight, Sandy. As always.
No problem, hon. Have a good night. Stay warm.
Yeah, you too. It's still winter, but
we got a dump of it today here, and it's not Trump. Thank God.
All right, you take care. Talk to you later. Bye.
You too, hon. Later. Cheers.
I guess 2 people have been arrested. So there's reports say because they leaked the video of that plane crash in D.C. 2 Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority employees. I guess they leaked the surveillance footage of that deadly plane helicopter collision. And then they gave it to CNN. So now they're in trouble, I guess. So we're told. I'll show you the footage again. This is the exact clip that landed them in hot water. I don't know what the penalty might be or what exactly the charge might be, but this is the video. You can see the helicopter. This is probably the clearest video of all that I've seen. Oh my. Terrible. Yeah, I want to find out more about that story. And just looking in the chat here again, there's, hey, Mr. House. Responding to all sorts in the chat, he says, all sorts, same here. Frank Vaughn says 12 to 16% of our GDP is from drugs and money laundering. I don't know, is that true? What's the source for that? Frank Vaughn? It could be. There's a lot of crime out there. That's the thing, though, right? It's like, this is kind of the point that I was trying to make earlier. All this stuff about the people on the border and the fentanyl czar, is you could throw $300 trillion at the problem, and you will never eradicate the drug problem that way. This is like some weird, poorly thought out war on drugs again, because it's not really the war on drugs. This is a bunch of people running. In my estimation, this is just window dressing to make it look like something's being done about a problem that's not really going to affect change. And so many vehicles cross the border every day. Like, we definitely need enforcement. We need detection. We need to try to deal with it the best we can. But you're never going to completely eliminate it. And Canada's border is already, I would say, largely secure. We have problems, but they have problems in the U.S. They have problems in every country because you always have criminals. It's like you're not going to end crime. But as long as there is crime, then I guess there's always something that a politician can use or point to as a problem that needs to be corrected. And you can always use that as a political tool against your opponents or even as leverage to get a better deal on something. But it's important to keep things in perspective if you really want to get to a solution. And that means also trying to find real truth. What they're doing with this, I don't think, oh, well, we'll put all these border people on the border and we'll run around and we'll look for stuff. Show me the plan. They have 30 days. Maybe they can do something constructive with it. Maybe it will result in some real good change. And any fentanyl they prevent from getting to the streets is good. But it's not going to end it. And 40 pounds versus 21,000 pounds on the other end. And I'm not even criticizing Mexico because they have a problem down there. But I'm going to put it back to Trump again, man. It's your border. It's what's coming into your country. And it's up to you to stop people and process people as they come into your country. Just like it's on the other way. People coming from the U.S. into Canada, it's our responsibility to stop them and make sure that our border is secure. That's why you were building the wall, right? To secure your border. It's funny how he makes America's problems like other people's problems. And the problem, I get it, is immigration, but still, you secure your damn border. And then people got into the country. Oh, and also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this just showed, it kind of illustrates my point tonight. If you don't have a really well thought out plan and you don't execute it properly, you waste a lot of money, you waste a lot of resources, and you don't actually affect change. So tonight we're learning that a lot of these illegal immigrants that they've been rounding up, a lot of them are actually being released. NBC, exclusive story to them, but I'll share it with you here because they've now made it public. Some of these people who have been arrested, they don't have capacity to hold them. And if their country of origin is refusing to take them back, they're put into the system, but then they don't have any capacity to hold them, so they're releasing them back out into the community. And so all the camera-ready border czar underlings who are running around or making all these thousands of arrests over the past week or so, all their handiwork, well, not all of it, but some of it has gone to waste because the people they've arrested, right back out on the street again. But hey, Trump's cracking down on the immigration. Okay, if you say so. And why would that be happening? Because if you don't have a proper plan, sometimes things don't quite come together. What's the point in arresting people if you can't deal with them after you've arrested them properly? What are you, the same thing? Just very quickly, it's like, oh, we'll just do it. We'll put people down. We'll get some people down to the border right away. Run around on the border, guys. That might not even be the best way to deal with the problem. It probably isn't. You need to nip the problem in the bud. Go to the source. And there's a lot of chaos down in the States because of this, trying to purge government employees. I guess some people on social assistance not getting their checks on the U.S. side. And now we're seeing that Elon Musk wants to completely shut down USAID. So as a result, you're getting big protests, two different perspectives on it, of course. One side saying that people are actually going to die because the aid that the United States provides internationally through USAID being cut off will result in that kind of impact. And the people on the other side saying that the money is just really largely wasted and abused and there's too much corruption. I can't say because I just don't know enough about USAID. But big protests happening, and you have some politicians opposed to Trump and Musk. Speaking with media in this scrum at one of the protests, I'll share it with you here. Musk saying, he's actually the one who posted this. So I'll show you what he said. He says, the corrupt politicians protesting outside the USAID building are the ones getting money from USAID. That's why they're there. They want your stolen tax dollars, he says. And this is Jamie Raskin blasting Elon Musk outside USAID headquarters, declaring that Democrats will block Doge from eliminating government waste and fraud. Well, let's listen to what Raskin says so that he can then, so you can hear what it was that he said that prompted the response from Musk and others.
Elon Musk, you didn't create U.S. aid. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create U.S. aid, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him. Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that under Article 1 of the Constitution. And just like the president who is elected to something cannot impound the money of the people, we don't have a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk. And that's going to become real clear.
So the battle there is going to continue too. Trump's got enough problems on the home front, man, and they're just starting to brew. They will heat up and reach a boiling point at some point in the very near future, as these things tend to do. And he's at, I would say, peak power right now because he's just starting this term of his presidency, assuming that this is the only term that he will serve as president. So he's at peak power, but his power will begin to wane over time and diminish. Right now, he's very, very powerful because he still has 4 years ahead of him. But you got the midterms, and then on the second half of the administration, he'll be on the downward slope. And he can still do a lot, obviously, but that's the way presidencies work. So we'll see how it all works out, and we'll see what happens in those midterms. The pendulum tends to swing back and forth and back and forth. What are we saying here? Martha says RCMP confirms there are 4,000 separate organized crime groups operating in Canada. A substantial number of these are profiting from poisonous fentanyl. Possibly. I don't know what the source for that is. Can't dispute it because I don't know what the details would specifically be on that. Like every country, certainly Canada has a drug problem, and I think since Trudeau took office, the drug problems in Canada have become much more pronounced. That's also one of the contributing factors to all the tent cities that we've seen popping up across our country. When I've gone down there to talk to the folks in those tent cities, they, in just about every instance, are addicted to some sort of substance. It makes it impossible for them to be functional members of society, honestly. Very, very big problem. What else we got going on here? Static. Are we still getting static on the phone when Sandy was on? All right, I'm going to have to see if I can come up with a better system, obviously. Really, really sorry about that. Lots of comments here on the YouTube side. And oh yeah, TD Bank. Yeah, it's Mr. Howe's. TD Bank made a load till they were fined $3 billion. Yeah, that's true. And Dale Baird says, "No, Rick, you work the border from both sides." Sorta, but not really. It's a free society. When I cross the border, Canada's not really checking me. I get in my car, I get to the border, and I hit the Ambassador Bridge, I pay my toll, they don't ask to see any ID, and I just drive across the border. And then I get stopped on the U.S. side. Now, if I'm trying to cross one way or the other, if I go down a boat on the Detroit River, I'm free to do that. And I can go tool around over there. But if I cross over onto the U.S. side, it's U.S. Customs that's going to intercept me. Canada Customs doesn't stop me when I'm putting a boat in the water on the Canadian side. I get stopped on the U.S. side. And you have to report when you're boating. If you go over and you land by boat on the U.S. side, you have to report to U.S. Customs. Same thing when you come back this way. So it's really up to each country to secure their border. Now, if you want to talk about dealing with crime, yeah, I get it, right? And we can help each other that way, but really, border security is you're responsible for stuff coming your way. It's communist countries that stop people before you leave the country. It's authoritarian countries. That's what the wall between East and West Germany was about during the Cold War. East Germany was keeping people in, couldn't leave. But I live in a free country and I can leave anytime I want. Nobody stops you. Get on the plane, take off. I mean, they check you for when you get on the plane, you get checked, right? But you get to the airport, it's U.S. Customs or whatever. Like, they're checking you when you get there. And they're checking you before you get on the plane for security reasons for the plane. It's not because you're leaving the country. Whatever, man. But Trump has a way of just flipping things around and saying, it's all your fault. You have to solve our problem for us. Yeah, that is exactly Trump's point, Rick. Whatever the point was that I made. I don't know how far back that was. This is what Bon is saying. That is exactly Trump's point. Whatever that is. And this is, what is it? You have no right to self-defense in Canada? Oh, probably you're referring to like crime. Anyway. Yeah. Well, whatever, man. 30 days, we've got a little respite here. A little breathing space. Trying to head this disaster off at the pass, even though it's already a damn disaster, just because of all the chaos that's been thrown around over the past week. And again, no need for it. So, but hey, whatever. People have their views. That gets us a little bit closer to the top of the hour here. Strange kind of a disjointed broadcast tonight. Sorry that we weren't running on the main Rumble channel. I didn't even know till 3/4 of the way through the program, but there's no way for me to know unless I monitor all the channels, and there's a bunch of them, so it is what it is. We'll be back tomorrow night, though, with hopefully all the channels up and running properly. Appreciate you guys hanging out here tonight. If you are inclined, you can support the channel at freedomreporters.com. That's how you can make a donation. And if you donate $30 or more, I'll send you a t-shirt of your choice. You can have a Exile the Knights of Malta t-shirt, or you can have a Maverick News t-shirt, or you can have one of those Trump fight t-shirts. Nobody bought any of them, even though we had the one caller the other night who said, I'm going to buy 6 of those. And I said, I'll give the money to the food bank for any of those that are purchased, or any donations that come in. I'll give that money to the food bank for those Trump shirts, so we get rid of those. And yeah, but no takers. Even though promised I'm going to buy 6, none. So just letting you know, I still have those. And I will be back tomorrow night. You can freedomreporters.com. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell on YouTube. We have quite a few people watching over on a couple of the YouTube channels tonight, so that's a good thing. And let's leave you with a little song of inspiration and nostalgia. What are we going to play for you tonight as we exit the broadcast? I think this one here. I think this is the rolling down memory lane. Since we're talking about the auto industry, There's a segue into the song. Well, this was back in the day when you could, talking about a 65 Mustang, back in those days, you could cross the border and just show your driver's license or birth certificate. It was the world's longest undefended border. It still largely is, which is again why it's kind of a, why is Trump making such a spectacle out of this when it's always been so? If you want a friend to do you a favor, sometimes all you have to do is just ask, not punch him in the face. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
He started with nothing, just metal and a dream. Wrenches in his hand, a vision so pristine. Day after day, he'd work till the stars shine, building a machine, one of a kind. Grease on his fingers, fire in his eyes. He'd smile at that engine like it was alive. He'd say, son, one day this will be yours. But I never knew how much it meant until we closed those doors. Now I'm rolling down memory lane behind the wheel of that old Mustang. Every shift, every turn I feel him near. The sound of that engine, it's my dad I hear. Filled with pride with his hands and his heart. Every drive brings me back to the start. In this dream car, he's never too far. I remember my dad every time I start. He taught me to drive, not just on the road, but through life's twists and turns and heavy loads. Now when I hit the gas and the tires start to sing, it's like he's riding shotgun with the wind under our wings. He's there in the chrome, in the roar of the gears, his laughter in the echoes, his wisdom through the years. This car ain't just metal, it's a piece of his soul. And every mile I ride, I feel it whole. Now I'm rolling down memory lane behind the wheel of that old Mustang. Every shift, every turn, I feel it near. The sound of that engine, it's my dad I hear. Filled with pride with his hands and his heart. Every drive brings me back to the start. In this dream car, he's never too far. I remember my dad every time I start. Through the rain and the rust, it still shines so bright, like the love he put into every late night. And though he's gone, I know he's still here. In every curve of this car, I see him clear. Now I'm rolling down memory lane behind the wheel of that old Mustang. Every shift, every turn, I feel him near. The sound of that engine, it's my dad I hear. Filled with pride with his hands and his heart. Every drive brings me back to the start. In this dream car, he's never too far. I remember my dad every time I start. Yeah, yeah, I remember my dad every time I start.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.